Stop running your maps rare. That is the number one thing that I hear every league start or every league in general, where people ask me, why are you running blue maps? Why aren't you running rare maps? And that makes me think that most people think that it is just normal, and that's the thing you should do. You should alk your maps when you run them for any reason at any point. And I think it is a big mistake that a lot of people are doing on Leaguestart, is that they feel like they have to run rare maps because they get more loot. The thing that people forget, though, is that running rare maps costs more currency. You need to roll maps that your build can run. You're not gonna die in. They manage to do efficiently. And at Leaguestart, when your character is weak and you're just progressing your atlas, that is not gonna be the case. You're not gonna be strong. You're probably gonna die if you try to run that. If you're running like a map with the extra projectile, minus max, extra fire, it is not gonna be a good time. Also, if you wanna try to do stuff in the map, you wanna try to do melee mechanic. For example, let's say you Leaguestart, you like to start with essence, for example, and you have everything clicked, right? You click some essence nodes, and then you have essence in your map. Now, if you're running your maps rare while you're just trying to just farm, you will have to fight an essence, like I don't know, 2, 3, 4, whatever. It's gonna be maybe the mob itself will spawn with it's gonna be a bad mob type. It's gonna spawn with extra projectile, extra fire, you don't know, and then everything stacks up very quickly on top of each other whenever you are running maps with mobs on them, a lot of mobs on them. Like the best thing you can do at Leaguestart is like whenever people on day one, your character is gonna be weak, and that's something that you have to take into consideration. And you want to be able to just run maps. You want to get your completion. Which is the only time you actually want to alk maps on day one, ideally. Get your completion, and then if you're just farming, say, for gear, get your character going, get your suppression gear, whatever it is you need for your build to start feeling good. You should always do that on blue maps, because league mechanics early on will be pretty... they won't be easy. Depends obviously on your build, but like build strength varies a lot depending on like the player, like how good you are at the game, how comfortable you are with the build to begin with. How lucky you were with gear, maybe. There's a lot of things that come into play. You really want to make sure that you can run your maps efficiently and fast, especially when you're doing stuff like, let's say for example, you have expedition. You want to do expedition, you want to do rogue. That's how you want to get your item, which is like one of the main ways, for example, to get early suppression gear if you're in SSF, for example. Or say you want to do essences, or do expedition. Like the goal here is to do as many maps as possible, so you can get more expedition, more essences, more everything. And these things, for example, if you just farm in essences, if you run a right map with nothing, you scour the map, put it in, or if you put in a rare map, corrupted 8 mod, that's not gonna make any difference in the amount of essences you're gonna get from that map. So there is no point rolling your map in that case. The only time it is you actually want to roll rare maps, if you want to roll your maps rare, you want to alk your maps, it needs to be for a purpose. Usually the purpose for that is, for example, you want to farm a life force. Ideally, harvest, you want to farm that into your 16 on rare maps. So, which is why I usually don't do harvest early on, because you need to be, you can't do it weak. Like when you're just first entering tier 16, if you try doing like rare map, alked, tier 16 harvest, you're not gonna have a good time. So it's not gonna be efficient. You're gonna be slow. You might die here and there. Like it's not something you want to do. Try to recognize what do you need to roll maps for, and what do you not need to do it for. So harvest is one. Farming, for example, Conqueror Orbs is another one. You need to roll your map so you can have a higher chance of dropping a Conqueror Orb. If you're doing, for example, destructive play, just to get Guardian maps, again, rolling your maps doesn't really help. You just want to do as many as possible. The more map bosses you kill, the more stuff you'll get. So, and all that goes against just making your maps more difficult, especially on low gear. Alking maps is only something that you would do, I don't know, if your character is strong, maybe the map drops rare and the maps are fine, you can run it fine, you just do it. But I would strongly advise anybody who wants a smooth Leaguestart, wants to progress efficiently, to forget the notion of, oh, if I don't arc my maps, I will drop less stuff. Because it's a pretty misconception that, yeah, rolling your maps rare means you get more stuff, but you don't get more stuff because you spend more time rolling the maps if you want to make them runnable. They cost more currency to roll, and they take more time to roll. And especially true in hardcore. In softcore, I think it still holds true to some extent, because dying is bad. Dying sometimes is okay. Obviously, if you never die, you're also playing softcore wrong. But you don't want to just die 3 times a map, right? So you want to make sure you just scale it like progressively, basically, and just as you gaining power, you're more comfortable with the build. Once you know exactly what your build can do efficiently without like slowing down. So I would strongly advise you just, for example, stuff like essences, I don't think there's any reason. If you go to farm essences, there's no reason to ever alk your maps. If you're farming Expedition, there is some, but I don't think it is necessarily worth it. Because, you know, for example, Expedition, if you run a map that's already rippy, and then you have the remnants that give pen, that give overwhelm poison, like there's a lot of things that can overlap very, very easily. I would strongly advise just run brew maps, run them fast, because you just want to get to the point where your character is strong enough to do all these things. That will be more difficult. That will be more demanding for a character. That you want to just get to that point fast, quickly. So it's like getting more essences, getting more expedition done, and all that stuff will all be the better way to progress your atlas and progress your character on day one at Leaguestart. Okay, so that was what I had to say on the subject. If you have any questions, any comments, let me know. And yeah, stop alking your maps on Leaguestart.